Look. I know we're late, but we're in Miami. It was the opening party last night of the conference, and we had the big banter party. And we've moved into, well, a new kind of studio, and we had to get set up in this apartment. So here I am, and I'm here, and I'm delivering a show. So I think that's what counts, is that I'm here. We are at that point now where Bitcoin is moving sideways. As you can see, we're now at 42,000, 43,000. It's at that point where Bitcoin is kind of making a decision, but don't be fooled, because there are huge signs, very, 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 very healthy signs under the bonnet. So if you know where to look, you'll see some very, very, very healthy signs. And if you know where to look, you'll know where to put your money because there are big things happening. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking about our token for the month of Feb. In December, we called Luna, and Luna exploded. In January, we called Fantom, and Fantom is in the middle of an explosion. Today, we're going to be talking about a token of the month for Feb, and we're going to be talking about whether I maybe called it too early. That's what we're going to be talking about. To those of you who were at the opening party yesterday, wow. That's all I can say. I felt showered with love from the Banter fam. I saw people from all around the world, friends, hugging each other, being part of the family. And it just made me remember that this family is so much more than just a crypto show. It's a worldwide family. And it was a really emotional night. Sheldon and I really had an incredible time. I'm sure you guys did too. And now we've got 3 more magic days together in Miami. For those of you who weren't there, we'll take a look at what it was like.
Hey, tune in, Crypto Banter. Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. I'd say invest in finance right now because this conference is going on, and yeah, put that in Reaper Farm. Gotta wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up. Smile. Do it from here.
I love Crypto Banter. I wish Sheldon was here, but I love Crypto Banter.
Get up, get up. I'm gonna be on the show tomorrow. This is a one-man show.
Thank you, babe.
Oh my God. She's a cancer survivor. 1 year in remission. Lung cancer. There we go. Love the family. Yes. We are here in Miami, 2022. Let's get it. Get up, get up! Ah! Get the fuck out of bed, let's go. Get up. I made a lot of money taking crypto together. You should make money too. Get money. Wake up, bitch, get up. DJ Body Beater, baby! No, that shit's dead! That is a good one!
So that's what happens when you take a bunch of degens and you mix a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of Miami. That is what you get. It was a great night out. I can't tell you, I'm a little bit hungover today. And there's still 3 more days of this conference left. So it's going to be really interesting. If you are here, remember, I'm speaking with Sheldino on stage at 10:30 on Wednesday morning. That's going to be absolutely amazing. So let's get into it. If you're not part of the family yet, subscribe to our channel, press the like button, because when you press the like button, that is what gets the content out there, and we need you guys to get this content out there. There's an amazing show that we want to talk about. Also, just a reminder, I haven't given away all my Sin City giveaways. So if you haven't interacted with the new Crypto Banter website, I suggest that you guys get onto the Crypto Banter website because there are amazing stories, including the story that we're going to be talking about today, which is that story. It was already dropped on the website a couple of hours ago. So if you haven't been there, do that. And remember, when you do interact with the website and when you do interact with the show, that gives you the chance to win those Sin City pre-IDO tokens. Remember, the only way to log into the website is actually to sign in with Twitter. So you just click the sign in with Twitter button, as you can see. And then 2 seconds later, you're fully integrated with Twitter. So the person that you are on Twitter is the same person that you are on our website. It's pretty much designed to be like an integrated experience for you guys. So that it looks and feels and scrolls exactly like Twitter. And there's 3 other stories which are breaking today on the website, which are also going to be huge alpha. In fact, I think it's from an interaction point of view, the website today is one of the top 10 most interacted websites in crypto. And that is a website that is effectively 1 week old. So in 1 week, you guys have made the website one of the most interacted websites in the whole of crypto Twitter. That's 1 week. Can you imagine what we're going to do with this website? And our objective behind the website is to be in touch with you all day, even when we can't be in touch with you on the show, and to make sure that every single story that we publish on the website is going to give you guys alpha. There's lots of stories out there, and there's a lot of people publishing stories out there. But if you can't trade on every single story, then we don't publish it. Because we ask ourselves the question, before we post something on the website, we always ask ourselves, what have I learned? What am I going to do about it? And if you can't do something about it, well, we're not going to post it because our website is for degens. Everything we do is for degens. You can see my shirt is for degens, you see? So there are people, I must show you this. I'm actually going to go to the room and I'm going to show you something. People inspired by Crypto Banter to start businesses. I want to show you this. Hold on one second. Okay, so this is a dude who I met last night who said, look, Crypto Banter, he's so inspired by the Crypto Banter family that he went and made his own brand and he trademarked Crypto Degen. And effectively now he's got a business called Crypto Degen. That is the beauty of the Banter fam, and that is the beauty of what we're doing here. We're building a community, and dare I say it, yes, we are degens. This is not a channel for conservative people. We are degens. We're here to trade. We're here to make money. And we're here to do it in a fun and credible way. That's who we are. All right, let's talk about the big news. Well, let's talk about Bitcoin and let's look at where we are. And I know you all think that you know where we are because you think that Bitcoin's moving sideways. And yes, it goes to 43,500 and then it comes down again to 42,700 and then it goes back down and goes up. And it feels like Bitcoin is moving in this range. But don't get demoralized. And don't get blinded by the move of Bitcoin, because I think if you do get blinded by the move of Bitcoin, you're going to miss what's actually happening in the market. And if you know where to look, you may actually find some really interesting clues about exactly where we are in the market cycle. So yes, we can see Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is moving kind of nowhere. But if we move to the next chart, what we can see is that the Bitcoin dominance is now at 39.81. And if you look at that line over there, the trend line over there, we had a breakout and we're now having a retest. Now, Sheldon says that, when we have the retest, either this thing's going to go back under the trend line over here. And if it does go back under the trend line, then you can kind of say that retest was effectively just a fake out, which is good for us because that means that there's alt season around the corner. The other option is that this retest is a real retest. And then that would mean is that the Bitcoin dominance is about to spike. And if the Bitcoin dominance is about to spike, it could mean one of two things. One, there's going to be major strength into Bitcoin, which is great, which could support the thesis that there is a short squeeze coming up. And I'm convinced that we're going to see some kind of short squeeze coming up. What I said on Twitter this weekend, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter. If you don't, you should follow me because I have the second best Twitter account in the whole world. Obviously, the best Twitter account is BitBoy. Then the second best Twitter account is me. So you should follow me because what I said is we have the highest level of leverage that we've ever seen. And the leverage hasn't been flushed out yet. And it has to be flushed out. Leverage cannot stay in the market forever. It can feel like it's going to stay in the market for a long time, but leverage can never stay in the market forever. It has to get wiped out at some point. And since the leverage wasn't wiped out on the way down, what it means is that the leverage will probably be wiped out on the way up. And we could get that short squeeze. Now, to put that into perspective, we're expecting dominance to do something. Either Bitcoin dominance right now is going to go straight through this line over here, or what's going to happen is it's not going to go straight through and it's going to go straight up over there. And if it does that, if Bitcoin dominance does do that, it's got to be powered by something. What could power that is a short squeeze. What else could power that is a complete crash of the market, a complete crash of the market where everybody just all of a sudden runs into Bitcoin because they think that altcoins are becoming too scary. Those are, for me, the two scenarios that could create that squeeze. I don't think that the second one, the crash, can actually happen. Or, no, obviously it can. Anything can happen. But I don't think that's the scenario that we're looking at. And I'll show you why. There are some metrics which are showing me why that metric is probably not the one that's going to happen. The first metric that I'm looking at is I'm looking at the health on-chain. And if you look at the health on-chain, you can kind of see that long-term Bitcoin investors from Will Clemente says the number of active entities is increasing. So the on-chain looks good. The number of active addresses is increasing. The number of new Bitcoin entities is increasing. The number of net growth is increasing. So from that point of view, there's big growth in the network. We also know that whales are now holding more Bitcoin than they've ever held. And we know that there's less Bitcoin on exchanges than there've been in a long time. So you can kind of see that there's something going on here. You can see that the whales are increasing their holdings, the Bitcoin are moving off exchanges, and the network itself continues to grow. Okay. Then we also look at another metric, which shows us that it could be that the breakout will be upwards. Obviously, it can happen anyway, but I'm looking for clues. And what we're seeing here is that the miners, here we go, you can over there, the miners are still accumulating. Now, the miners are the driving force behind the Bitcoin, or have been traditionally one of the big driving forces behind Bitcoin price movements. And if you look at the miners, well, you can see that historically, miners sell into dumps. So you can see over here, let's look over here. Miners sell into dumps. You can see over here, miners sell, it's almost like miners sell and create the dumps. You see that it's like miners sell, create the dumps, miners sell, create the dumps, miners sell, create the dumps. Miners accumulate on the way up. And you can see that at this stage, miners are still accumulating. So one of the biggest selling pressures in the world, or one of the biggest selling pressures in the ecosystem, right now, they are buyers, not sellers. So it does make me feel that if we do see some kind of movement in Bitcoin, then I think it will probably be up. And it does look like, we're on this retest now. We're waiting for something to happen. So either this breaks down and we get into full-blown alt season, or it breaks up, in which case it probably, in my mind, means that we're getting a whole lot of new buying into Bitcoin. So that's the thesis in terms of Bitcoin. So whereas Bitcoin is moving sideways right now, you're looking at this and you're going, this is not actually about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is moving sideways. It feels like it's what I'm going to call for now a healthy sideways, as opposed to like an unhealthy sideways. I feel like now the sideways movement is actually quite a healthy sideways movement. At the same time, though, what we are seeing, and I want to see if I can find something to show this to you guys, is we are seeing major narratives playing out in altcoins with a $42,000 Bitcoin. So there are major narratives playing out. One of those narratives, which is playing out, which we spoke about, we've been speaking about the whole month, is Fantom. And you can see now that Fantom is actually starting to test new highs. So that's the Fantom chart. And you can see that Fantom is actually starting to test new all-time highs. And it's doing that with ridiculous volume. Have a look at the volume The last time we saw any type of volume like this was September. And look at the volume on Fantom, which is now pushing Fantom to all-time highs. You're kind of getting a cup and handle forming over here, and it looks like it's going to shoot through to price discovery. And that kind of makes sense. And I'll tell you why that kind of makes sense. Well, here in Miami, we're at a conference. There are 5,000 people attending the conference. And Fantom is a massive part of that conference. Fantom, Tomb, the whole ecosystem is a massive part of that conference. Remember, I wouldn't be buying into Fantom now. If you're in, I would be holding, and I'd be enjoying the ride, and I'd be staking Tomb and Fantom and earning money, and I would be in line for the airdrop. You know, there's that big Andre Cronje airdrop, which is coming out. The snapshot is being taken on Friday. And so the reason why you are getting all this volume is because people are buying Fantom or moving their Fantom around. That's what they're doing. They're moving their Fantom around because they want to be in line for the airdrop, which happens next Friday, okay? I think a lot of people are misunderstanding it. What Andre Cronje said is, he said he's going to take the top 20 Fantom ecosystems by TVL, and he's going to allocate the tokens to them with a snapshot on Friday. No one else gets tokens in Andre Cronje's new project. I think it's called Solid. No one knows what it's called. I think it's called Solid. But the only way to get tokens is to get tokens by participating in the Fantom ecosystem, which is a complete revolution in how to distribute tokens. No founders, no advisors. The only way you get in is, do you participate in the ecosystem, right? Now, that everyone is now moving their Fantom around, which is causing this huge move in Fantom volume and huge move in terms of price. But if you look at DeFi Llama, what you'll see is Fantom had a 41.7% increase in total value locked, and it's actually got a higher total value locked than Solana. This, if you adjust it. Now, Fantom, everyone's doing this to get the airdrop, which is coming on Fantom. And remember that what's going to happen after the airdrop is the bees may start moving somewhere else. And so, yes, we love Fantom. We love the narrative. We love the fact that right now the Tomb and T shares, let's quickly look at what the peg looks like. I think that the peg is actually, let's have a look. My wallet's not connected on this machine. But the peg, the Tomb Fantom peg is actually above peg. And that means that Fantom is starting, you're still earning a lot of money on your Tomb, Fantom, and T shares. You're also getting Fantom exchange balances continuing to plummet, reaching a 3-year low of 10.3%. Obviously, why is that happening? It's happening because people are moving their money from exchanges and they're staking it because they want to be part of the Fantom airdrop that Andre Cronje is doing. So this is another metric which is showing us exactly what we think the thesis is. Everyone's taking their money off exchanges. They want to be part of this airdrop. We're then also seeing the daily active wallets chart in Fantom for the last 7 days also increasing exponentially. Why? Because people are taking their Fantom off exchanges, starting their own Fantom wallet so that they can start staking so that they can fall in line for this airdrop. So very, very, very healthy for Fantom. Love it. Sounds good. I am a long-term holder and investor in Fantom. I was obviously an advisor to them when they first launched in 2017. I'm a long-term investor in Fantom. But if you're a short-term investor in Fantom, I wouldn't be buying much more Fantom right now. I wouldn't be buying much more Fantom right now, because what's going to happen once the airdrop snapshot has been taken? Well, people are going to want to take their money, and they're going to want to take their money to the next narrative. So I think you got to watch Fantom this week, and if you can see a chance, if you want out, I don't know why you'd want out, because long-term Fantom is great. But if you do want out, then look for an opportunity this week to actually maybe take some profits and start getting your money ready for the next narrative. I don't think that Fantom continues to run forever and ever and ever. I think right now the bees are there. There's a lot happening. There's the Andre Cronje airdrop. But I think after that, what happens is, well, people move on to the next narrative. We know that. So that's my advice to you. My advice is financial advice. I'm sorry, it's not financial advice. Maybe it is. it's not financial advice. This is not financial advice. You see, it says in the bottom of the screen, just read the bottom of the screen. It says, it's a podcast for entertainment purposes only. As you can see. All right, so that is where the TVL is moving to. You can also see TVL moving to other projects. You can see that there's one TVL project called Platybus Finance, which is effectively the curve on Avalanche, and huge money has gone into Platybus Finance. And I think if you follow Suzu's account, he tweeted about it. He seems to love the protocol. You've now got this huge I think it's $3 billion locked up in Platybus Finance on Avalanche, which is a great sign for Avalanche. What you also see if you look at DeFi Llama, because DeFi Llama is showing you where the money is moving to. And if you know how to use this tool, then you can start to see narratives. So one thing I do see here is in the last 7 days, the TVL on Luna has increased by 7.6%. And I saw another one, Osmosis, which producer Luke called last week. He kind of called me and he said, look, we're going to talk about Osmosis. He's right. I've been doing a lot of research on Osmosis. Luke, it might be Osmosis time soon. Or have we missed it?
I think missed the first bit, but there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, so Osmosis is the DEX on Cosmos, and as you explained to me, it's a DEX and a blockchain, and that is because the only way that you can actually build anything on Cosmos Tendermint is you actually have to build your own blockchain, right? That's how it works.
The Internet of Blockchains is how Cosmos works. So everything is a blockchain in Cosmos.
Exactly. So we'll talk about we will talk about that. But what you can see is that the money is moving from chain to chain. And one of the chains where the money is moving to is Terra Luna. And I thought I'd show you guys this thing on Terra Luna. So I look at the price of Luna. The price of Luna is $81.63. And that is in a downward market, right? So in a downward market, we're getting a price on Luna. And it's under $100, which is all-time high. But I thought that what I would do is I would show you how, even though the market is moving sideways, if you know where to look and you're following the right people and you're getting your calls and your alpha from the right place. And remember, I said to you that this year, it's going to become much harder to make money in crypto, which means that you have to refine where you get your data from. And if you can refine where you get your data from, then you will make much more money. So I wanted to show you this. This is where a penny dropped for me. So I took the last time or the first time that Bitcoin hit 42,000, which is where we are today. So we're looking at 42,000 right now. And I took the first time that Bitcoin hit 42,000. And the first time that Bitcoin hit 42,000 was on the 31st of July. 31st of July was the first time that Bitcoin hit 42,000. And then what I did was I said, okay, well, since then kind of Bitcoin's gone up and it's gone down. Where was Luna on the 31st of July? So I took the Luna chart and I went to 31st of July and I found that Luna was trading at $5.08. So that means that even though Bitcoin has been, you can argue, flat in that period, Luna has 20x'd itself in that period. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. So you look at and say, okay, well, where is Luna? You look at where's Bitcoin? When was the last time? In fact, let's take the last time. Let's not even take the first time. Let's take the last time that Bitcoin was at 42,000 was in September. Where was Luna in September? Luna was at $17 or $20 for the first time. And that just shows you that if you know where to look, there's amazing alpha to be made. But if you're short-minded and you're short-sighted and you're looking at Bitcoin and going, well, the Bitcoin price isn't moving, therefore the market is crap. Well, that's wrong. You're not maximizing your alpha. You got to be smart. You got to be able to see these things before they happen. I'll show you another thing that's happening right in front of your very eyes. I've been telling you that it's been happening for months, and I'm going to show it to you again. And I don't think it's happened just yet. And that is Rose. So Rose is the Oasis blockchain. Rose is the native token. It's now also in all-time high territory. And it's one of the cheapest layer ones out there that has investment from the big VCs. And it hasn't run as much as all the other layer one blockchains. And I think one of the reasons why this could be running is because of this YuzuSwap, which is the first DEX. And so when you get a first DEX on an ecosystem, it starts to bring in TVL, it starts to bring in DeFi. Yes. Now, which other chain is also now launching its first DEX? If you don't know that, then you shouldn't be watching the show. But if you do get a big layer one chain with investment from the big VCs, and that chain is launching a DEX, and the DEX means that it swallows up all the total value locked, and then you start doing DeFi, well, that's what happens. The same thing happened with Luna, with Astroport. And so you just need to know how to read the signs. And if you know how to read the signs, well, it's almost like so easy to make money. It's so easy to make money. Remember, I told you, I said to you, if you follow the right people, if you had followed Suzu and you would have bought PTP, you would have made a lot of money. So that's that's what he's saying. One of the other things that Suzu did tweet this weekend, he said, I think NFTs and GameFi have really replaced punting BTC and ETH on high leverage for new participants. What he's saying now is that the people that were buying NFT Bitcoin on leverage, the people who were buying Bitcoin on leverage have been flushed out. And what they're saying now is, instead of buying Bitcoin on leverage, let me just go and buy NFTs. And that could mean that we're getting into the beginning of a new NFT run. Delphi Digital wrote a report, and they're all saying that we're kind of seeing that there's another NFT run about to start. And they took the numbers from OpenSea, and you can see that the trading volume has been increasing on OpenSea again. So it looks like NFT part 2 is starting to come up. And so that's another thing. We also saw yesterday, we saw this. Now I laughed because we saw Walmart is quietly preparing to enter the metaverse. And this is an article published by CNBC. And they say Walmart is quietly preparing to enter the metaverse. Walmart appears to be venturing into the metaverse with plans to create its own cryptocurrency and collection of NFTs. The big box retailer filed several trademarks in this regard. Okay, cool. I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time that Walmart entered, or we thought Walmart was entering crypto, we thought they were going to accept Litecoin. That is what happened. This time they published it and nothing happened. Right? So it's like, shame on you if you fool me once. Shame on me if you fool me once. Shame on everyone. I don't know how the saying goes. Wait, let's see, how does the saying go? Because everyone here is laughing at me. How does the saying go?
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
You also don't know. You also don't know. How does the saying go?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times.
I don't know if it's.
You don't get fooled.
How does it go, bro? Just, help me out.
Sheepers, man. I'm out of this one. Sorry.
I'm telling you, I studied this. This one's correct. The way I said it was right.
I don't know. Anyway, so what you can see is that they're not going to fool us again. But it does feel like they did file something, but it's not. I don't think they filed their own cryptocurrency. I think they filed for a wallet. So I think what they're doing is they're coming into the metaverse and they're going to launch obviously because they're going to need money in the metaverse, they're going to need a crypto wallet. And so they find a patent for a wallet. Now, this is what we've seen.
Great.
That they may be.
Looks like you need a good wine
with.
pairing. Take a look to your right. Your age has already been pre-verified through your profile, so no need to wait for an ID check. Just place the item in your cart whenever you're ready. I'm getting a notification from your connected smart fridge. It looks like you already have a full gallon of milk at home. Should we put this one back?
Don't throw the milk. She's going to break.
Hey, good news. Your oil change is done. Your vehicle will be ready at the Tire and Lube Express. I've added the service charge to your cart.
Okay, so there we go.
Now for the fun stuff.
That was
To
the video that they
electronics.
released. That is 100% not how the metaverse shopping is going to work. 100%. That is not how metaverse shopping is going to work. Because if meta shopping works like I'm not shopping in the fucking metaverse. I'm not going to stand. What I need a trolley for in the metaverse, what I need aisles for in the metaverse, right? So it's like Dr. Parik Patel. I love Dr. Parik Patel, right? He says, imagine spending thousands of dollars on a powerful graphics card and VR set just to visit Walmart in the metaverse. And I'm going to add a few lines at here and shop in the most antiquated of ways using a trolley. Why the fuck would you do that? And I mean, do we need aisles in the metaverse? Do you need aisles in the store? You don't. So I think that it's great that Walmart's coming in. Welcome, Walmart. I think it's like that moment where Facebook said they're coming into the metaverse. I'm glad they're coming in because they've got billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they're going to spend billions and billions of dollars helping us develop tools for the metaverse, Oculus, VR headsets. I think that they're going to have all of that. But what I don't think that's going to happen, what I don't think is going to happen is, I think that these companies are so antiquated and stuck ways, they can only take and try and make it existing on the metaverse. It's the same reason why Elon Musk, who had no idea about cars, came in and completely revolutionized the entire motor vehicle world, because he didn't come in trained with the neural pathways of how things are meant to be or how things always happen. For Walmart, the only way that they know shopping is they know shopping that happens in aisles with a trolley and a shopping list. Okay, that's all they know. That's all they know. That's all they know. And while you're shopping, you can't be doing anything else. And therefore, when you finish shopping, you can go pick up your car. That's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work. Because it's going to work somehow completely different. Like, for example, your fridge should talk to your service provider or your store, and the store should just deliver stuff when the fridge is empty. That's how it should work, right? That's more or less how it works. It's not going to look like that. So it's great that they've come in, and I love the fact that they're going to bring more money so that we can develop the metaverse. And I have the same argument for Facebook, but I don't think that it's going to look anything like they say it. I'm happy that they're coming in. I like people being disrupted, but I don't think Walmart's going to disrupt. I think it's always someone who's not the incumbent that's going to disrupt the incumbent. That's what I think is going to happen. In that vein, we're seeing a launch, I think tomorrow, of Chingari. Chingari it's a TikTok out of India which works on NFTs. And it's a massive launch. And I'm very excited to see how this thing launches, even in a less than amazing bull market. I think that I'm super excited to see how that launches. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that Walmart thing upsets me. Well, not really. They must just bring money. Just bring money. Just keep bringing money. That's it. We'll do the rest. Bring money. We'll use your money to develop all the tools, and then we'll say bye-bye, and we'll go shop somewhere completely different. By the way, our whole take on that story is going to be published on the website pretty soon. Today, sometime soon. Or maybe it's already published. Anyway, let's move on to the next story of the day. The last one for today. And that is that in January, I published this, and I said, look, like it or not, there's going to be a Cardano season soon. The date is not going to lie. I tweeted that on January 1st. I should have been partying because it was 6:52 a.m. on January 1st. Why was I awake at 6:52 a.m. on January 1st? And I think much more importantly, why was I tweeting in that condition? I think it's very bad to be tweeting in that condition. But anyway, what I tweeted was, like it or not, there will be a Cardano season soon. And the reason why I said that is because you could see that the developer activity, Cardano was in the lead. And what we said is, developer activity is the one metric that doesn't lie, because the more developers there are, the more VCs there are, the more VCs there are, the more money there is. The more money there is, the more dApps get built. The more dApps get built, the more transactions happen and TVL gets locked up, and therefore the higher the price goes. So a lot of metrics can lie. Leverage can lie. Price can lie. But the one metric that doesn't really lie very well is the developer activity data. And this is the first domino that falls in a whole series of dominoes when a token is about to get a run. So the first domino that falls is TVL, then money invested in the ecosystem, then active addresses and DEX and everything else. The one thing that doesn't lie is this is the developer activity. And so what happened then, and you've obviously heard us say that the charts usually go up, and then after the charts go up, then the news comes out. So it usually happens that something is brewing, then the chart will give you a signal, and then after the chart gives you a signal, usually news comes out. And last week, again, on the Crypto Banter website, where you should have been there 3 days ago, because if you were there 3 days ago, you would have made yourself 20% on Cardano, but you weren't there. You didn't sign in with Twitter, and you didn't interact with the website. If you had done that, not only could you have won a whole lot of Sin City, but, by the way, if we get to 5,000 likes, I see there's 10,000 of you. If you get to 5,000 likes, I'm going to start giving away Sin City, and I have to give them away. So we published a chart of the day, and the chart of the day was Cardano. And what Sheldon then said was he was seeing signs that Cardano was about to break out. So he said, like, look, it's in the channel. It looks like it's about to break out. 3 days later, that same chart now looks like that. Bang, we've now had the breakout. And so what's going to probably happen now is we're going to get the retest, and then Cardano could go to new highs. And that correlates with a whole lot of news that's happening on Cardano. So it's amazing how this happened. This is the stuff that you've got to look out for. First, we saw the developer activity, which was the first part of the dominoes. And then that's when I said, look, the data can't lie. Just the data doesn't lie. Something has to happen. And then the chart started to say, hold on, look, like something's about to happen. There's a breakout imminent. And then the breakout now really happened. And now we'll probably get a retest if Sheldon calls us correctly. And then we probably continue to go up. Okay, so that led me to tweet. Now, I hate doing these tweets because the problem with these tweets is that if you get them wrong for the rest of your life, people will remind you of the fact that you said it's going to be Cardano February. But then this morning at 7:02 a.m., which is when I woke up, I said, okay, it's going to be Cardano Feb. And I think it's going to be Cardano Feb. And I think the reason why it's going to be Cardano Feb, it's all actually in this article. So you don't actually need to watch the show anymore. You can just go to the website. Everything's here. Basically shows you everything as to why this is happening. So if you don't feel like listening to me, well, go and see this and go and look at it over here. But what you can see is that now there is a spike in everything to do with Cardano. Everything to do with Cardano, all of a sudden, there is a spike. The 7-day price, let's look at the ecosystem. Let's look at the whole Cardano ecosystem. So if you go to CoinGecko and you press categories, and then you scroll down, and you just look at the ecosystems in the last couple of days, and I usually take the 7-day one here, and you scroll down, what you'll see is in the last 7 days, Cardano's got a 20.4% increase in price, and that's across the whole ecosystem. Fantom's got 600%, so Cardano, just hold my beer. Fantom will teach you a bit of a lesson, but I mean that just shows you there's a spike in a whole lot of things that are happening on Cardano. Bang! So it is going to be probably a Cardano February. Why is this happening? Well, it's starting to happen because the first DEX is now going onto mainnet on Cardano, and that is SundeaSwap, and I think it's going onto mainnet on Thursday. So Thursday, 20th of January, SundeaSwap goes live, and that starts a new era for Cardano because now all of a sudden you can have a whole lot of DeFi applications being built and a whole lot of TVL. Now, remember, you can't have DeFi if you don't have a DEX. It doesn't work like that. If you don't have a DEX and you can't send DEX picks, then you're not in the game. But when you can send DEX picks, and especially if your DEX is working, if your DEX is not working and you send picks, it's not great. It's quite disappointing. Really disappointing when that happens. But if you can send DEX picks and your DEX works and it's up and running, then yeah, if your DEX is up and running and you can send DEX picks, then it's amazing. And so what happens is now what you're getting is the first DEX on Cardano, and it's being launched now on Thursday, and that's going to be the beginning of a new era for Cardano, a whole big DeFi era, which is going to start happening on Cardano. And you can see that as a result of that, in the last 7 days, the Cardano ecosystem has started to go up. It's just started to go up. This is what I'm trying to show you. I think if this Cardano season pans out, because it might not pan out, but if it does pan out, I said this to you last year, I said Cardano would be Jan-Feb. Here it is, it's Jan-Feb. I called Luna in December, I called Luna in November for December, I called Fantom for this. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I really feel that Cardano might run now with the DEX. When everyone starts sending their DEX picks and the DEX is up and running, then it's going to be good. So you see that a lot of money is now starting to move into projects on Cardano, and there are a whole lot of good projects on Cardano. The one problem is that when you go to CoinGecko and you click on Cardano Ecosystem and you look at projects to invest in, they don't have all the cool projects here. There's a whole lot of cool projects which are building on Cardano, but they don't have all the cool projects here. In fact, the only really cool project that's building on Cardano here, that I really like, is Coti, because Coti is going to benefit the most out of all of this, and no one's talking about that yet. But we're talking about it, and we're going to talk about it a lot more. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing the beginning of a move in tokens on Cardano, and you got to start positioning yourself to capitalize on this move. Okay, you got to start capitalizing yourself. We're going to talk about how to capitalize it. There is just a word of caution. The Cardano network may not be ready in terms of scale for all the transactions that it's about to get. And there have been a whole lot of articles that have been published about it. Let me show you some of the articles here. So it says Cardano has flipped Solana in terms of market cap, even without an active mainnet desk. Will it flip BNB? These are all the Cardano fans shouting that something's about to happen on Cardano. You look at the transaction volume, Cardano did more transactions than ETH. The interesting part and the true part, which no one can deny, is the total transaction fees for all these transactions on Cardano was $66,000. The same transactions would have cost $4 billion the Cardano fees total 60,000 to process, over $4 billion in transaction. ETH would have cost $44 million for the same transactions. That shows you what happens when you actually get a good fast chain with low transaction fees. That shows you what happens. And that's why I think it's exciting that Cardano now finally has the DEX. If you look at the transaction volume on Cardano was 4.12 billion. It was second only to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and to Ethereum it was literally by a very, very, very a little bit. So there is stuff happening on Cardano. It is moving there. The staking, obviously, Cardano has a large part of its token staked, so that's in short supply. But there is a word of caution. It says, thoughts about SundeaSwap. This comes from Patrick Tobler. I don't follow him. I should follow him. It says, I believe SundeaSwap will be so far the greatest and worst day for Cardano. Greatest because it's the first time when a wider audience gets to experience DeFi on Cardano. It'll be an absolute wild to see what's happening. Worst because it will bring Cardano to its current maximum in terms of scalability. Don't fool yourself. The Cardano mainnet will not handle the amount of transactions coming yet. There is a clear roadmap of how to get there, but they're not there yet. In the last 24 hours, we've had consistent 82% load on the chain without SundeaSwap. We've seen time and time again that simple NFT launches can lead to a lot of congestion on the chain, slowing down the transactions. And so that's without SundeaSwap. So my personal hypothesis is that Thursday, instead of celebrating the success of SundeaSwap, a lot of news outlets and outsiders will focus on the scalability of Cardano. Controversies we've ever seen in the space. If you don't believe me, ask yourself why Charles Hoskinson published this blog, and the blog was around how they're going to be scaling. We're trying to prepare you for what's coming. Honestly, we're still not prepared. And there's going to be a shitstorm in terms of FUD. I don't want to read the whole article. You guys can go and read the whole tweet storm. But remember that we're entering a new era, and that there are going to be problems with Cardano. And when you do see the crashes and the network delays, just remember that every single protocol in the world has had exactly that. Solana crashed many times. Ethereum used to crash all the time. In fact, I'll never forget the one time when there was a Ethereum conference in Shanghai, when Vitalik was speaking on the stage, Ethereum got hit by an attack, a DDoS attack. Now, these things are going to happen. So prepare yourself for the best and the worst. We are entering this new phase, though, and this new phase is an amazing and exciting new phase where we can now have DeFi on Cardano, and you need to start preparing yourself if you're going to capitalize on DeFi on Cardano. So how do you capitalize? Because we've got a few minutes left. I want to talk to you about how do you actually capitalize. Well, what you do is you prepare a thesis. And you say, well, what do I think? I think that Cardano is going to work. I'm not 100% sure, because you can never be 100% sure. You can just never be 100% sure. So what you do is you place a whole lot of small ecosystem bets. And then you wait. And you see if your thesis plays out. And if your thesis plays out, then double down. And keep doubling down as long as the thesis is playing out. If it doesn't play out, well, then you've taken a few ecosystem bets on an ecosystem that you believe in, and then it's just a matter of timing. So where do you put the ecosystem bets? Well, for one, you need a DEX. I keep saying it to you guys. Remember, I said to you on Luna, go and buy Astroport. On Avalanche, I told you guys to go and buy Trader Joe. Those are the safe bets. You're not going to go wrong with the DEX. Now, there's a couple of DEXs that are out. Well, SundeaSwap is out. There are a couple of others that are out. You've got Cardano, which is kind of a DEX, which is out. You've got ADAX. There is also coming out SundeaSwap. You can get that. There's ADA Swap, which is one that we're backing. We invested in a protocol called ADA Swap. I think their launch is on Cardstarter. I don't exactly know when it is. I think sometime in Feb. But you choose your DEX. Choose the DEX that you like. Make sure that it's up and running. When it is up and running, just take some DEX pics. And then just let us know which ones you've done. You know what I'm saying? That's just send us some DEX pics. So what you got to do, if you do like that, you take a small bet. You take a small bet into the ecosystem. You start putting the bets down, and then if the narrative plays out, amazing. Then you play the narrative. And I think we're getting in early. And if not, well, then you've just got in early, and then you just hold until Cardano season comes, because it will come eventually. Maybe it doesn't happen this Thursday, but it will come. It will come. There will be a Cardano season. And because the markets hit Cardano tokens pretty hard, there's a whole lot of amazing cheap opportunities inside Cardano. The one opportunity that I saw is I looked at Cardstarter. Now, Cardstarter, because there's been no launches on Cardano, Cardstarter hasn't done very well. So maybe now's a good time to be looking into Cardstarter. If you want to, let me see if I've got this tweet for you guys. Hold on, there's got to be a tweet here. I saw that IOHK tweeted about Charlie 3. IOHK invested in Charlie 3, which is the Oracle solution on Cardano. So that's another one that, go and do your own research. But what you can see is that it is happening. So Charlie 3, which is the Oracle, it's like Chainlink, but it's a smaller Oracle on Cardano. IOHK, which is Charles Hoskinson's company, they invested in it. Maybe take a small position there. Where else can you take a small position? One of the tokens that I like is Paribus. What Paribus allows you to do is it allows you to take loans. It's a DeFi play, which allows you to borrow and lend against things like NFTs, like and a whole lot of other things. So Paribus, another one which I would start putting some money on. Paribus has been one of the best out there. I think Paribus is going to do really well. There's a wallet play. There's Giro wallet that you can invest in. You go do your own research. These are just the ones that I've invested in because I think that it's going to do well. Let's see. Are there any other ones? Paribus, really, really good. Apparently, right now on Paribus, I can't connect to Paribus now because I don't have a wallet here because this is a non-hack computer, so to speak. But there's apparently 134% yields. Yes, Charlie 3 is a great one. Another one which you need to be looking at is you need to remember that every token, every chain needs a stablecoin. And you know that our thesis is that it's not about stablecoins, but it's actually about algorithmic stablecoins. So like Luna, we don't want USDC and USDT. Obviously, USDC and USDT will move on to Cardano. But what you want is you want an algorithmic stablecoin. It's got to be an algorithmic one that works like Luna and Terra. And if you can invest in the Luna of Cardano, that would be amazing, right? The issuer of the algorithmic stablecoin. The good news is that I think you can. And the reason why I think you can is because if you look at this chart here, you can see that Coti, because Cardano is moving, Coti is starting to move. And the reason why Coti is starting to move is because Coti are issuing the JED stablecoin, which is the algorithmic stablecoin on Cardano. So that may be a way for you to invest in the stablecoin and the growth of the ecosystem on Cardano without actually even investing in Cardano. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd bring Shachaf. Shachaf is the founder of Coti. He's a good friend. He's also the founder of Coti, and Coti are doing JED. Shachaf, welcome, my man.
Hello, Ron. Great to be here again.
Good to see you, man. So things are getting quite heated on the Cardano front. I mean, it's starting to feel like it's like a volcano, which is like it's brewing and brewing and brewing, and then eventually, bang, it just explodes, right?
Cardano has always been a slow cook, but it's very tasteful.
Okay, tell me where you guys are with JED. When are we thinking of the launch? I know you guys have been working on it for quite long. When are you thinking of the launch?
So that's true, and kind of like you said, I think it's going to be Cardano Feb. So JED is going to be out there at February, most likely. It's still under development, but it's looking very well. It was end of last year, I think, in the Cardano Summit when Charles Hoskinson invited me to be on stage. As I think I was the only guy on stage out there. When he announced that Coti will be the official issuer of JED, which is it's going to be the biggest stable coin on Cardano for sure. And Cardano is seeing this as much more than the stable coin that is obviously needed for DeFi. They consider stable coins to be a new way to pay fees for the usage of the network. So this is going to be pretty big.
That's the one difference between Cardano and Ethereum. In Ethereum and Bitcoin, you can only pay the network fees using the native currency of the network. What Charles Hoskinson designed so beautifully in Cardano is he said, look, there's no second citizen tokens. And what is a second citizen token on any other chain on Cardano can actually be used to pay fees. And he's thinking that the fees on Cardano will actually can be paid using any coin, but most logically, they'll probably be used on a stablecoin.
Yeah, that gives you predictability in terms of fees, and that is so important. And yes, I think Cardano are way ahead of the curve in that sense. And JED specifically is a very, very sophisticated type of stablecoin. Yes, it's algorithmic, but it's a whole new design. And I don't want to dumb it down, so I suggest people just go to JED.xyz and read the research paper behind it. It has been battle tested. It's already ran on a test net on Ergo, and and it's sustained all the recent market movements and kept the peg, which is quite amazing. And for us, as Coti, this is big because as the issuer of JED, there are a lot of fees to be accumulated, whether it's mint and burn fees, whether it's for the stablecoin JED or for the reserve coin, which is obviously not stable. All of that is fees. And, the new Coti area is around the Coti's treasury. And the treasury will just collect the fees from the entire ecosystem, including JED and what we do with merchants and all other types of activities with Coti Pay, everything. And everything goes to the treasury. And that treasury goes back to the community and the holders of Coti. So, and this is the first time we show this, and this is a behind the scene, and obviously the product team and the marketing team will hate me for this, but this is how the treasury will look like. And essentially, you can deposit Coti, your Coti in the treasury, and get the rewards. And those rewards are coming from JED and everything else. So that's a very, very big benefit.
So just to dumb it down, and I know you said let's not dumb it down, but just let's dumb it down a little bit. So bottom line is there will be a lot of fees generated from usage of minting and burning stable coins on Cardano, on JED. Those fees are actually paid in and for and to Coti. That's put into the treasury, and if you take your Coti tokens, stake your Coti tokens, then you effectively get a percentage of those fees.
That is absolutely correct. Couldn't have said it better than me.
So bottom line is buy Coti, stake Coti. You're now staking your Coti. The more usage that starts to happen on the Cardano network with the JED stablecoin, which is right now the only algorithmic stablecoin, and is probably and has been touted by Charles Hoskinson himself as the primary stablecoin, which is also going to be used to pay fees, the more money you make. And by the way, not only that, there's also Coti itself, which is, Coti continues with its, all the other stuff.
Okay, so the treasury and JED actually coming together, and this ecosystem is now amazing. I mean, all the names you gave up, the dexes. So we already partnered JED with SundeaSwap, AdaSwap, ErgoDex, Ardana, OCamFi, and so on. It's already integrated to the Uroi wallet and Daedalus. And again, this is another behind the scene thing. This is how as a user, you'll be able to mint and burn JED. Super easy, with a mint and redeem button. So all of this is coming around February, probably treasury end of this month, and then JED.
Yeah. So I think what most people forget is that even though it does feel sometimes like tokens are not doing anything, it's usually in preparation. I love showing this Fantom chart because for years, Fantom did nothing. Nothing, half a cent, 1 cent, half a cent. And now in 1 year, it's done that. And it looks like, I'm not saying it has to happen, but Cardano and the whole ecosystem hasn't done something for a long time. OCam, Paribus, they haven't done anything yet because they haven't been put on the field and been allowed to play. But now it's time for them to play, and they've been given a ball and the boots and everything else because they've got all the tools that they need to go out there and play the game.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to have this opportunity, to innovate on a layer one that is so big and happening, once in a few years. Okay,
now I'm going to put you on the spot here. You're going to hate me for it, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I do. Which DEX is going to win on Cardano?
Wow, this is look. There is a lot of hype around SundeaSwap, obviously. I saw the work of the guys in AdaSwap, and I think they're doing well. I can't pick.
Got it. Yeah. All right, let me go, Shachaf. I've got to get the show. I'm going to go get to the conference.
All right, thanks a lot.
Good to see you, brother. Be well.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, so there we go, guys. I got to get to the conference. Remember, if you do believe that this thesis may happen, take some small bets, get into the launch pads, get into everything else, start placing your bets as if there's going to be a Cardano season. If we're wrong, well, you've got yourself some tokens and you just have to be a little bit more patient. If we're right, well, then there may be an explosion and then you can capitalize on the explosion. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to the conference. If you are in Miami, come and meet myself, Hassel, and Sheldon at the conference. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends. How was that?
Was good.